Okay, so hi, my name's Jared, and today I'm gonna just bring up some of the disadvantages that are present within the Advocates Plan. The most jarring of which I find to be the benefits cliff. It's a phenomenon that happens when the minimum wage is raised over the poverty level, like the advocates suggested. Currently, the poverty level for a family of 3, according to the Department of Health and Human Services, is $20,420. So if you take, for example, a single mother with 2 children working at minimum wage, if she worked 40 hours a day, 5 days a week, for 52 weeks in a year, her annual income would be $15,080. Because she doesn't meet or surpass the poverty level, or poverty line, she is given money by the federal government in order to compensate for that, which comes in the form of SNAP, which is food stamps, or child care, or or with tax write-offs. If she were to make $10 an hour, like the advocates suggest, she would make $27,310, which puts her above the poverty level, which would require her to give up most, if not all, of her social benefits. SNAP, for example, currently gives out to 41 million people. It gives out food stamps to about 41 million Americans. A report conducted by the Center for American Progress stated that wage increases would reduce SNAP enrollment by about 7.5 and 8.7%, which is about 3.1 to 3.6 million people. So while her wage would increase, her benefits would decrease, which leaves her with about $7,000 to get food and to care for 2 children. According to a senior policy analyst at the Heritage Foundation, James Stark, the single mother in the scenario I just described would be $260 a month worse off if the minimum wage were raised to $10. He says that while her market income rises $494, she loses $71 in EITC, which is Earned Income Tax Credit, refunds, pays $37 more in payroll taxes, and $45 more state income taxes. She also loses $88 in food stamp benefits and $528 in child care subsidies. Another issue that was stated by the affirmative side was that giving people a higher wage would allow them better housing. I challenge that in saying that with the basic principle that if you give more people, or more low-wage people, more money, it provides more competition for finding low-wage housing. Researchers from UCLA concluded that 700,000 minimum wage workers will have more money to compete for the same low inventory retail units. To touch on what my partner suggested and what the advocates tried to defend was that the minimum wage would actually result in a loss of jobs. A report from the Congressional Budget Office stated that the minimum wage increase from $7.25 to $10.10 would result in a loss of about 500,000 jobs. And this is for a bunch of reasons, more than what the advocate stated. There's, of course, layoffs by employees. A survey of about 1,200 businesses and human resource professionals showed that 38% of employers that currently pay minimum wage say they would lay off employees if the minimum wage was raised to $10.10, and 54% of them said they would do it to decrease their current hiring levels, companies would also be pressured to outsource their jobs to other countries to decrease labor costs. According to the Statistic Brain Research Institute, 2,382,000 US jobs were outsourced in 2015. 44% of the companies said that they outsourced the jobs to reduce costs. Another study of 400 US CFOs by Campbell Harvey, who is a PhD, and J. Paul Strick, professor of international business at Duke University, found that 70% of CFOs said that they would increase contracting, outsourcing, or moving actual productions out of the United States if the minimum wage were increased to $10 an hour. And like my partner previously touched, there's also the growing problem of automation. According to a White House report, there's an 83% chance that automation will replace jobs that pay $20 an hour or less. It seems more likely that that would happen if the affirmative plan went through with increasing the wages. They also said that it wouldn't cause, or hasn't been rising with inflation, but I would argue that raising the minimum wage itself would cause inflation. And NBC News found that the price of a cup of coffee went up 10 to 20% in Oakland after they raised the minimum wage. The same report also found that there was a 6.7% rise in prices in Chicago after the minimum wage was raised to $10, which shows you examples of times when the minimum wage was risen as well did the price levels. And lastly, I just want to touch on the fact that raising the minimum wage would result in lower monthly incomes.
You're out of time, so I got to cut you off.